This is the College of San Mateo in San Mateo, California. It consistently ranks in the top community colleges in the nation. Located between San Francisco and Silicon Valley, it serves nearly 10,000 students across 79 majors. Like other academic institutions in the U.S., near the middle of spring semester in March 2020, the College of San Mateo closed campus and canceled classes due to concerns about the spread of the novel coronavirus.
We heard of some news saying that there were some COVID-19 cases in Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco. Our school closed immediately because of this pandemic.
CSM announced that they would be closing campus. I was kind of expecting the news to come because my brother's high school had already closed. I thought it was the best decision at the time, just given the severity of the virus and all of the unknowns.
My reaction when CSM closed back in March was shocked at first, but then I quickly realized how serious this virus was going to be.
I was very surprised, but I'm happy that we were taking precaution due to the seriousness of the pandemic.
I was terrified by the closure of campus.
First, I felt relieved to be able to see my two dogs more and my cat and my husband.
CSM first closed campus in March of 2020. My first reaction was kind of like that. I was like a little excited to take a break from waking up early and driving all the way from Redwood City to San Mateo in the morning and driving back home.
And I remember going to my counselor at school and being like, I just don't understand. I was like, closing for 2 weeks isn't gonna hurt anyone. I just feel like it's like the best option. I was like, why aren't we doing it?
When I received the news that the campus was going to be closed for the rest of the year, I was in shock because I never realized that COVID was getting that bad.
I didn't think it was going to open back up in fall, just because I'm usually optimistic, but with this situation, it just seemed so foreign to everybody. Like, nobody knew how to handle it, including our president, our governors, teachers. It just didn't seem like it was going to go smoothly. I knew for a fact nothing was going to go back to complete normal by fall.
I never went on my trip, and then I stayed home, and I'm like, wow, we're closed. I was surprised, but it made sense.
What most thought was a temporary closure transitioned into virtual learning. Nearly every class on campus stopped meeting in person as the college made the switch to online classes.
Online learning is definitely less engaging than in-person learning. I enjoy usually talking with my teachers and classmates in class and just seeing their faces every day.
I honestly just miss the fact that I could make friends or see friends. Just see people in general. Like, my parents are very strict with COVID rules and everything, which as they should be. So I haven't really been able to see any friends and stuff. So I'm just here with my parents, and yeah, I just miss people. I miss being in person and being able to have that connection with your teachers and stuff instead of just being through a screen.
I enjoy an in-person classroom much more than online learning, as I do not like staring at my screen all day. One thing I enjoy better in the online format is that the classes are more flexible when you watch them.
I really like the in-person class compared with the online class.
I like having that connection with the professor and just being hands-on, and especially for that music class that I'm taking, we're doing virtual piano learning. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. It's kind of difficult to press the keys on your laptop, and I can imagine you'd be going a bit faster on an actual piano.
I prefer them to be online just because I find it easier to pace myself, and it kind of just gives me a little bit more flexibility.
I believe that in-person classes do allow you to have more involvement and more of an active interaction with your professors and students. Online is nice too if your teachers have asynchronous courses because they allow you to kind of pace yourself and learn the material when best for you.
Online course do give me a lot of challenges because I'm a person that's not easy to concentrate. So even in school, I will go to a library to have study by myself. But now since I'm studying at home, so there's a lot of distractions such as the movies, the music, my cell phone, and the PS4, and there's a lot of books that I want to read. So my learning efficiency does decrease a lot.
I feel like I'd almost rather the online other than for math.
The only thing about online is you have most of my assignments are like a week you have to do them. So it's really nice to kind of pick my schedule on when I want to do my classes and, kind of work my schedule around my classes instead of my schedule working my work around my classes. I get to kind of do the opposite.
But I really miss face-to-face classes.
I like online learning better. That's just my personal preference. I think that in person it just depends on the class in reality, because I had business in person and I loved it.
In some ways I find it better, in some I find it more difficult, depending on the teaching style of the instructor. Some instructors, such as my digital media professor, are very organized and structured and put lectures and assignments on Canvas ahead of time.
To compare online learning though to an in-person classroom, I would say it's a lot more difficult for sure. Not only just with like my comm classes, but with like certain areas where we can't work with groups like in person. I would say it's better that way than it is than having to break out into breakout rooms in our Zoom sessions. One of the things I miss the most about being on campus though is being able to wake up in the morning and knowing I'm going to see other people other than just like the ones in my household.
During these strange and challenging times, CSM students have adapted to this new virtual environment imposed by COVID-19.
I felt pretty frustrated at the first couple of days of taking classes online because we couldn't really get in touch with professors.
I did face some challenges when my in-person classes converted to online in the middle of the semester. I was not used to online learning, and I think it was also hard for professors to transform their lectures into an online course.
Because not all classes were made to be online, the material is not always so transferable.
My Wi-Fi is horrible. I have horrible Wi-Fi, the worst you will ever know. It's not the worst.
It's very hard picking up. I've done some online classes, but I never took a full online class, so it was very weird. It was very difficult.
Online learning is pretty hard for me. The first challenge is I'm not good at technology, so I missed a lot of class.
Challenges I face with online learning is just like Wi-Fi issues and trying to balance work with it, especially during this time. It's kind of hard to keep a job and get a job.
Last semester was a pretty hard one for me because I took courses like calculus and chemistry, which are really essential and hard.
I think College of San Mateo adapted really well and knows how to handle this situation.
It is hard to reach some staff members or counselors at CSM during COVID.
COVID-19 has affected CSM students both in the classroom as well as at home. Many have coped with changes in their education as well as their home life, households, and loved ones.
So basically one of my uncles ended up getting COVID and he lived with us, but luckily at the time I was out of town at my mom's place, and since I live with my dad and them, it was hard because I had to separate from them for about like 6 months because they all got sick individually and they were all healing at different times. And honestly, like after that, like I was basically quarantining myself in a hotel, even though I already went and tested, and then I tested negative.
How do you feel about being online for the spring semester too? Oh, that's a thing? I thought that was gonna change. I guess not. Gosh, that sucks.
My educational plans have not changed because of the pandemic. I still hope to transfer to a university in fall of 2021, and I'm applying to schools right now. I'm going to graduate CSM in the spring with 3 associate's degrees, so that has remained the same. I think if anything, this pandemic has kind of forced me to get more involved in CSM's community just because of the limited interaction I have being stuck in the house.
Yes, they have been affected. So I was supposed to transfer. I still am applied to transfer for spring 2021, but I don't really want to transfer if things are going to be online and spending the money.
I didn't change any of my educational plans regarding transferring because of the pandemic. Although I'm traveling home to China recently, I'm still taking courses online and completing assignments during this semester, and I'm preparing to fill out the UC application form as well.
Honestly, we do not need more casualties. Some people are arguing and saying, like, we should just open everything back up, completely open everything back up and let nature take its course. And I honestly hate that so much. I do not think that should happen. I think as much as it's sad seeing all the local business and our economy go down, I think it's honestly what has to happen in order to save the lives of so many people.
I was supposed to be applying to colleges for transfer. However, I decided to stay another year here so I can obtain my associate's degree and just better develop my art skills and prepare for my future.
For me, it was like the reason as to why I went to CSM was to try not to spend that much money. But if classes continue to be online, I just feel like it's kind of this conflicting thing where I don't know if it'll be worth the money to like pay for those classes.
It was very hard connecting to a counselor to seek some guidance during the pandemic. So unfortunately, I missed a certain requirement to apply as a tag student to a UC. I feel like if I would have had that guidance, I would have avoided that. But, it's okay. Hopefully I'm still on track to get into the UCs that I had in mind.
I'm an ICC rep, for example. I'm doing all these things that I actually didn't think I was going to be able to, but I am. So I do have extracurriculars, actually. I didn't think I was going to because since there was a pandemic, I thought it was going to be harder to find volunteer hours, but it's just different. It's just about adapting.
I actually planned on transferring in fall 2021, but due to financial hardships caused by COVID, I have to defer transferring for 1 year and work in the meanwhile.
Thankfully, COVID-19 is temporary, and normal life is in the future. Our students are getting restless to get out of the house and spread their wings, as students should. Excitement is a great cure for the feeling of being locked down.
I'm really looking forward to, oh my god, and eating out Benihana's. I want to go to Benihana's. I want them to do I want them to do the little fire volcano with the onions. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want them to do the little heartbeat where it's like boom, boom, boom with the rice. Oh, it's so good.
I am looking forward to so many things when the pandemic is finally over. To name a few, I really can't wait to see my grandparents and my baby cousins. Also, depending on when this is finally all over, I may be at a university at that time, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also just looking forward to traveling again and spending quality time with my family and my friends.
Most forward looking to is traveling. I'm actually traveling December. I'm going to Hawaii. I go to Hawaii every December and summer to visit some family, and my boyfriend's from there, so I'm looking forward to traveling. I mean, we're still in a pandemic, but I'm still gonna go because I just need a break.
Is going out with my friends. I feel like this is just crazy. Who would have known that we would have lived through a pandemic? It's just something that we just never would have thought.
When the pandemic is over, I am most looking forward to going back to school, seeing all my school friends, and being able to travel again.
I'm most looking forward to meeting my family and friends when the pandemic is over.
I hope it ends as soon as possible so that we could get back to normal life.
Just moving out of here. I just want to move out, move into my new apartment, decorate my new apartment, have my own life.
Once the pandemic is over, whenever that's going to happen, I'm just really looking forward to traveling. I was supposed to go back home to the Philippines to visit family and just like relax last summer. But due to like the travel ban, school and quarantine, I was incapable of doing so.
Actually being able to like have people over and go to people's houses. I just want more friend interaction, and like that's what I miss the most, and like not having to be so stressed and scared that like something wrong is gonna happen.
I'm really looking forward to just have a normal life again. Being able to socialize without fearing to get the virus, and planning on working on my future.
Yeah, looking forward to go back to my hometown and visit my grandparents, and then maybe I will go to New York City with my friends. I want to travel and play around with them.
I'm most looking forward to going out again, traveling, seeing family, and going to the movies and that stuff like that. It's hard to imagine, though, when we'll go back to normal and what that new normal will look like for us.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most when the pandemic is over is actually being able to communicate with other people other than just the ones in your household, to be able to go back to church, sit in a restaurant with friends and family without having to wear a mask all the time. That makes it difficult to breathe. Being able to go to a movie theater with my loved ones, and just being able to do things the way it used to be before, at least, but in a safe and cautious way, of course.
At CSM, we are resilient with change and adaptation. In the future, we look forward to stepping up and leading the way for students to overcome obstacles and challenges. We hold the distinction of being ranked a top community college in the United States, and we will continue to do the hard work to maintain this honor.